Hi guys, and welcome to yet another video. Elias, are you gonna start running around? Today I decided to do a video about something that affects me a lot of the time, and I thought that there are probably a lot of people out there who are experiencing the same thing. So today I want to talk about performance anxiety. It's a better word in Swedish actually. It's called prestationsångest. I think it's a bit more accurate in Swedish, so I just want to put that in there. And I also want to talk about comparing yourself to other people in a negative way. So to start off, I wrote down some things that I think work for me, and I also asked my friends what helps them. So I'm also going to share some tips from other people. So hopefully that means that we are including a lot of good tips. So if you're also experiencing this, hopefully you might be able to take something with you and make the world a little bit better. That sounds so cheesy. Make your life, everything sounds cheesy, but you know what I mean. Like, I just want people to feel better, and I want to share the things that work for me, basically. So let's do it. First thing I want to talk about is that you need to acknowledge when you are comparing yourself to other people. So for me, if I feel like jealous of somebody's success or something they're doing, that's a really good reminder to myself that it's probably something I wish I was doing more or was more successful in. So that's a really good reminder to just take the focus and put it back into your own life and look at what you can do to improve the things that you wish you were doing or the things you wish you were more successful at. So that's a really good point. Like, acknowledge when it happens. It might take time to figure out those kind of signs. So that's what I do. I notice it's happening, and then I try to take that focus and put it back into what I'm actually doing with my life. My second point is something that I actually I felt like it was harder than I thought it would be at first, and that's to remove everyone from like your Instagram feed or your Twitter feed that you don't really feel joy from, or that you don't feel inspired by or learn something from. And that could be like your friend or your neighbor or somebody you've been following for like 10 years, and you just realize that maybe you're not getting that same kind of inspiration or good feeling from that person anymore. And that's totally fine. Be super picky on this. And I keep removing things I follow. Like, I go through my Instagram every now and then and just remove people. I know some people might look up and be like, oh wait, Sylvia doesn't actually follow me anymore. Well, what can I say? It's not something that has to do with like that you're putting up bad stuff. No, it's more about the things that are happening inside my head, and that's my biggest priority in life. So I just have to go with whatever makes me feel good. And you should do the same. If you don't think I put up good stuff, then unfollow me. Probably the most stupid thing you can say is somebody who's like, yeah, whatever. Another good point is to try and remember all the things you've done up to this point. It's so easy to forget all the little steps you made so far in life. At one point I even made a scrapbook with like my achievements or my professional progresses or the cool projects I've been involved with. Because it's so easy to feel like you're still in the same spot you were 5 years ago. But you're not. You've learned a lot, you've done a lot. Even if you don't see it, I'm sure that other people do. So just sometimes try and just remember all the little things you've done throughout your journey. Yeah, because you've done a lot more than you think. Another point I have is to be kind to yourself, and that sounds like a cliche again. I love cliches. No, but I love cheesy stuff. And to be kind to yourself can mean different things. So for me personally, it means two things. The first thing is to acknowledge when I do need a break. Like if I'm super stressed out, maybe it's fine for me to take 2 weeks off making videos or similar things. But to be kind to yourself also means that you need to stay focused on what you actually want to accomplish. So that also means to me to not make excuses. And I'm really good at this. I can find excuses for anything. I'm like, well, I hit my toe yesterday, so that probably means I can't have candy tomorrow. No, but you know, we all make excuses sometimes. And it's part of life, and sometimes you just have to acknowledge that and kind of steer back into the right lane. So for me, that's also being kind to myself, is to acknowledge when I'm just making things up to avoid doing something because it feels a bit hard. So I have one more tip. Let me go grab this before we dive into the tips of my friends. I bought this book a few months back. It's called The Comparison Cure by Lucy Sheridan. And honestly, I'm like halfway through, and this book is so good. I'm somebody who easily compare myself to others, and this book is like, I love Lucy Sheridan. Thank you so much for writing this. It has legit changed my way of looking at things in life. And basically what you do is like you focus on the things you want to accomplish, what is stopping you, why are you comparing yourself to others, and you nail down like where it's stemming from and just figure out ways to improve this in your own life and just where to go from there. And it's so good. Like the last thing I did was to nail down like who am I following online, for example, because that affects a lot of us comparison wise, and like which people am I following that are good inspirations for like creativity and expression or leadership or love and relationships and things like that. So yeah, highly recommend. I bought it on Amazon UK. I'm sure you can find it on other bookstores. Let's move on to the tips I got from my friends, because I asked them. It's so easy to like get very into your own head, and sometimes you just need to pick other people's brains. First tip I got was to remember that what you're doing for you. And this could be whatever, depending on what you're trying to achieve. If you're making videos like I am, or you're trying to become a big Twitch streamer, or you are wanting to be an artist or improve your writing or whatever, just remember that the only person you're doing it for is yourself. It doesn't matter what other people think. And that's one of the things that's very easy to say and harder to like actually feel and do, but it's important to remind yourself of that. For me, when I feel like I'm doubting my ideas too much, it's a really good thing to just come back to. So I'm very happy I got that tip. I really like needed to be reminded of that recently. Another tip I got from a friend was to call a friend. So when you're feeling really doubtful or down, or like you're lost in your ways, you can call a friend who you know will steer you back into the right path, or tell you to just do it and like stop making excuses, just do it. It depends on the friend and the mood, of course, and the situation, but it's good to have somebody. Maybe you have a deal with somebody, like if you feel doubtful, call me and I'll call you if I feel the same, and we'll boost each other up. Another awesome tip I got was to remember that you're doing the best that you can, provided that's true. No, I think everybody's always doing their best, and sometimes your best is maybe not what you expected it to be. Sometimes your best is to just get out of bed or have a shower or brush your teeth, and that's fine. But remember that you are doing your best and you can't do more than that. This next tip was kind of related to that you can sometimes compare yourself to other people when you're working out or at the gym. So this tip from my friend says that it's not a competition. Listen to yourself, and it doesn't really matter what the person next to you is doing, because you're two different people with two different paths. So just focus on yourself and not competing with somebody else, because it doesn't matter. You're doing it for you, right? The next tip I actually got from two different sources, so I feel like it has to be double the amount of good in this tip. So this one is to sometimes just take a break, take a step back from what you're doing and just leave it for a while. And then you can come back to it with fresh eyes, and that usually works better. That's also great for like creative blocks, or I do this in my work sometimes. I take like half an hour to work on something else and then I come back to it, because then you have a new fresh perspective, and usually it helps unlock these little blockages in your brain. So I think it's a good tip, and I do that too. I tried to record this video 2 days ago and had a mental breakdown because my cats were being so annoying. I love you, but sometimes they just know I'm filming and they go bananas. And it made me in a really bad mood, but now 2 days later I'm back in it and I feel so much better. And I feel like it's going so much better to do this. So yeah, I came back to it. I followed the tip. Thank you. Next on the list is that everyone goes through this sometimes. And I think that's a really good one, because it means that we're not alone. You're not the only one feeling this way. Heck, I'm feeling this way a lot. And sometimes it feels like you're the only one. And then I talk to friends and they're like, yeah, I feel this way too. I have friends who I consider to be extremely successful in what they do. And I talk to them and they're like, yeah, I feel like I haven't accomplished anything. I'm like, are you kidding me? I feel the same. I don't know if anybody ever thought that about me, but if you ever did, just know that I doubt myself a lot, and I work with that on a daily basis. I work with myself to improve, and yeah, the grass is always greener, right? I love this one. I think it's my last point, is it? No, I have more points. Okay, so this one is to hang out with people, surround yourself with people who are a good influence on you and that make you feel like you don't have to prove anything. And I think this one is good for all parts of life, not only just comparison or feeling insecure, but like just make sure that the people you actually hang out with are people you want to hang out with. And sometimes it's hard to break up with friends. It's one of the toughest things. Yeah, I hate it, but what you get back afterwards is amazing. It should never take energy to hang out with a friend. You should get energy from it. It should make you feel happy and content to hang out with people. Different story if you're very introverted or have social anxiety, stuff like that, but when it comes down to it, the people that you hang out with should make you feel good and not bad, because if they make you feel bad, they're not good friends, then you should probably cut them out of your life. If you feel like you are insecure about something, you can sometimes also just keep focusing on it, like give it 200% and try your best to improve. And this one I think works a lot if you're comparing yourself to others and you're like, oh, this person is streaming 5 times a week and I'm only doing once every 2 months. Then start doing it more often. Yeah, that usually makes me feel much better about those kind of things. It's gonna make you feel less insecure. Yeah. Oh, I like this next one. So, some days you will be bad at things that you're usually good at. I think that's such a liberating way of thinking about it, because sometimes you have bad days. Like, for example, I love singing, and physically some days are different. If you have a raspy throat, or sometimes even if you're on your period, your singing can become worse. And that doesn't mean that you're bad at singing, it just means that you're having a bad day, and that's okay. But good point that my friend made. If you notice that you are having these sort of bad days for a long period of time, she says that it's important to look into your personal life and see if there are other things that might be affecting this. It's like stress or your relationship or things like that. So, very good tip. I have such smart friends. I'm very happy. That was all of them. Oh wow. Okay, I already ran through them. But I'm so thankful to my friends who helped out on this, and I hope that maybe some of these tips might help you feel a bit better. I legit made this video because I felt very insecure and uninspired about my videos, and I felt performance anxiety. I felt like I was comparing myself to others, and I was like, let's make a video about this, because I mean, it's something that's been keeping my mind occupied recently, so why not make a video and share things? And the fun part is, it brought me back out of it. It brought me back out of that pit of like self-pity and confusedness and just feeling bad about myself. So try it out. Let me know if you tried any of these things, or if you have other ideas and suggestions that work for you. I would love to take part of them. I don't know, but if at least one person gets help from this or feels inspired by this, I feel like it was totally worth it. So I'm very excited to see what you guys have to say. Alright, thank you so much for watching. If you liked it, feel free to subscribe or give it a thumbs up, because that's what you're supposed to say at the end of a video. And I will see you soon. Alright, guys, I love you so much, and make sure that you stay happy and positive, and I will see you soon. Bye!